Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. Surprise, surprise, this is a video response to Shall Not Be Infringed. I'm going to do this like we normally do. I'm just going to talk directly to you. This is about the video you just put up, what do you call it? More on the fire vid. I'm kind of surprised at the approach you're taking to this. So let me preamble anything by saying this. Whatever level of government you're paying your property taxes to, they're the ones that, if it's included in your charter, are responsible for emergency services and shit like that. Then that's a whole different duck. But you're talking about a guy here who was relying on the township next door, who doesn't get any of his property taxes. So why should those firefighters put their lives at risk to go in there and protect this guy's home? You know? I mean, yeah, you're right. It's probably going to wind up that the mortgage companies screw people over on this, you know, and wind up taking it directly out of your mortgage payments and tacking it on. But that's not my issue right here. My issue is this. If you aren't paying property taxes to the people that are providing that service, which is the municipality next door, well, I would expect that your tackle on this, and my take on this is this, then you should be bitching at your township to get a fucking fire department up. That's who you're paying your taxes to. What are they taking your tax money? What are they providing you if they're not providing fire services? But, you know, the guy next door, I don't see, you know, to me that's kind of like expecting the government to provide some kind of service. I just don't understand. I don't understand where you're coming at that. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, to me, that's like deciding that your neighbor is responsible for feeding your dog if you go out of town. It's not your neighbor's responsibility. It's his responsibility to feed his dog. It's not his responsibility to come over and feed your dog, even if it's an emergency. You know, your mom is sick and you had to hop on a fucking plane and go someplace. It's not your neighbor's responsibility to come feed your dog. Now, if you made an arrangement with your neighbor to feed your dog, if you made an arrangement and you paid your neighbor to feed your dog and you didn't, now you got a different argument. But you're talking about a township next door. How's it their fault? How's it their responsibility? You know? I just don't get that. You're talking about that Baker's Island again. Now, that's a whole different topic. You know, they just handed them, what'd you say? Here's a fire hat and one of those weird dogs. That's fucking hilarious. But anyway. Now, they should be suing Salem, Massachusetts. That's what they should be doing. They should be suing for a fireboat. If there's no roads on that island, if you know, whatever that township, if they're charging extra taxes because it's waterfront, then they should be providing a fire service if that's part of the taxes. But it's not, right? Not for that other town. So I think putting the two situations up together, I don't think it's the same issue. You know, when you compare what happens to the residents of Baker's Island who are paying their property taxes to Salem, Massachusetts, and you said they're paying higher if they live on the water. So now that's comparing apples to apples. If someone else in Salem, Massachusetts can reasonably expect fire services, then they should also be able to expect fire services if they're paying taxes to that township. But this guy down in Tennessee, why should the neighbors, you know, the neighboring town, why should they bear any responsibility? This is like the government bearing responsibility. Now, I've been meaning to make a video about this. I haven't yet. One of my subscribers, or at least somebody who commented on my video, talked about the no duty laws, and he sent me some messages back and forth, and I've been reading into it. And let me tell you, man, it's a doozy. The court system has found that there is no duty to protect an individual. I'm assuming that's going to extend out to fire services, and now that can start a whole debate. Basically, what it comes down to is the police have no responsibility to protect you as an individual. They only have a responsibility to protect the community at large. So any individual, even if, you know, this is why these people, if they go and they get a restraining order against some nut job, and the cops do nothing about it, and then the nut job winds up killing them. The government has held, the court system has held repeatedly that the government does not have a duty to an individual, only to the community at large. Now, personally, I think that's bullshit. You're paying for the service, you should get the service. You don't give me the option as an individual not to pay the taxes for that. So how come you have an option not to protect me as the individual. It's bullshit double standard. It shouldn't go that way, but it does. So I don't know. I'm just surprised that you would take the stance that the neighboring community should bear the cost and the danger of taking care of this guy's house. I mean, they came and they provided the service. That's like, well, you don't have a tow company in your town, so when you break down, you should be able to call a tow company. All right, you call a tow company from the next town, they come tow your car to your house. Well, what's going to happen next time you fucking break down and you call that tow company if you didn't pay them? They're not going to tow your car. They're going to tell you pound sand. I'm not towing your car. You never paid me for last time. You got to pay me for last time and then for this time, up front. So how's that any different for a fire department? Now, I know the argument is going to be that one is a municipal service and that the other is not, but it's a municipal service for a municipality next door. It's not for his town. So, my argument would be, well, what am I paying property tax to this town for if they're not providing these services? How come the town next door can provide these services for those property taxes, but we don't get it? That's an argument I understand. But arguing that a third party that's not involved in your transaction should somehow be responsible. If you're my township, Mike, and I'm paying you for taxes, and you don't provide services that I should be getting with my taxes, I take that up with you. I shouldn't expect, some other video creator, who I like Roller Podger. I shouldn't expect a Roller Podger to come in and take care of a service that you're not providing just because he also makes videos and he happens to be next door. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get the debate, but I guess that's really what the video here is. I'm just asking for clarification. I don't understand how you're deciding that some third party next door is involved in his tax bill. Are you saying that the state should have to provide fire services, not the municipality? Because pretty much that's who a lot of your property tax goes to, right? The state. I know in Philadelphia it goes to the city, but but Philadelphia has professional fire services. Another thing, I haven't been able to find the article that you're talking about with this guy. I've done some Googling, I can't find it. Is the fire department next door, are they a municipal fire service or is it a private company? I don't know. Or, like a volunteer fire service. I don't know. I can't get the details. If you could toss me a link up, or in a PM or something, toss me something so I can do a little bit more research. I just can't find the story as you're presenting it. So, if you could clarify, I'm not sure why it is you think the township next door should be involved in this tax bill, and in saving this guy's home. Knowing the history of the fire department is Ben Franklin created the fire services. And the way it used to be is it was a private company and you paid that company and they came out and they put a validation plaque on the front of your fucking house. That's what those old fire plaques are. And if they showed up at your house and you didn't have a fire plaque on there because you hadn't paid for that service, you were beat. Your house burned down. I don't think it was a good idea in the first place for the government to take that service over, but they have. Now that that's done, if that's what you're paying taxes for, yeah, you should get it. But it seems to me he's not paying taxes for that service if that's from the next town over who's not getting any benefit from his taxes. So anyway, I think I babbled on about this shit long enough. Hopefully you can do a video response or toss me a message clarifying your position on that, man. Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.